Social media a year ago, 2 years ago, really was still out there, but it wasn't anywhere near the magnitude it is today. Today, Facebook has over 550 million members. And compare that to the 309 million that make up the population of the United States. You see that there's a vast opportunity for organizations to connect with potential customers, patients, students, employees. So there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for organizations to better know their customer base. But with that opportunity comes risk. There's reputational risk, potentially could impact the brand of the organization. There's operational risk in the hiring of employees and bringing in students. And then there's legal risks around defamation and intellectual property infringement of content. One, you need to develop a strategy and a policy, and that policy should really reflect what the culture of the organization is. You know, are you actively using social media to communicate with customers, or are you really just using it as a defense strategy to monitor what's happening out there and what's being said about the organization? This policy should also address what that strategy and that policy is with employees. And most importantly, that's going to involve training, not just a policy that's listed on the intranet website. There should be active training around social media. So it should talk about things such as who has access and under what guidelines, when social media portals are to be accessed, what type of legal review is required. So any posting that an employee wants to put on a website, it should require some legal review or some second level review of someone else in the organization before it's posted on the site. And finally, the postings that are made outside of work are important as well, because many of these employees recognize who their employer is on their Facebook, on their Twitter site is, so they need to make sure that they have the proper disclaimers and disclosures when they're posting on their own time. All of this should be evaluated on an annual basis. Social media, as I mentioned, it's growing very, very quickly, and the nature of how it's being used is changing. So the organization should reevaluate what they're doing with social media on an annual basis, and they should amend that policy to reflect that. Training should be done on an annual basis, and they should require confirmation of review by its employees so that they acknowledge that the employees have read the policy, they've gone through the training, and they understand what is required of them on an annual basis. And then one last thing organizations should also do is from an internal standpoint, the legal team and the HR team wants to review whether they're complying with third-party site guidelines. They want to review the Facebook guidelines. They want to review the Twitter guidelines. Make sure that they're in compliance. They want to make sure that whatever they're doing to actively monitor these sites, that it reflects what their policy states and what they've stated to their employees and potential employees what they will be doing. So they want to make sure that they follow through on the monitoring of activity on these sites. They should create a response team. They want to make sure that they have a team within the organization that's going to respond to adverse comments that are made about their organization and how they're going to deal with that.